What's good, people? Another day, but not another dollar. I may change my name to that. Well, not my name, but my company name. Anyway, on my way to the dentist office again for the umpteenth time. But hey, it's Friday, so shouldn't be that big of a deal, not that bad of a day. And of course, as you guys know, Fridays is after work rush hour over at Madison Tavern, 30th Street between 6th and 7th Avenue. So if you're not doing anything after work and you want a little drink, a little time to relax, come down and party with us. Other than that, it's been the same old nonsense. Taking care of the house, the kids. And watching how crazy this world is becoming. I mean, like I said, I like the fact that people are fighting for what they believe in. But when the lines get blurred and you're not really sure why you're out there, and you're holding a sign that you didn't even read because somebody said they'll give you some money to do so, that's not protesting. That's paid mayhem. This nonsense with the women and their rights. I don't understand why they feel their rights are being taken away, are gonna be taken away. They have more power than what they want to believe. They just want more of it. The only thing we ask is that you be responsible. People are getting tired of paying for the recklessness of some of you women and some of you men. That's all we're saying. You have every right to do what you want to do with your body. But when you choose to be reckless and want either the government or the taxpayers to pay for your stuff, for your mistakes, nah, I don't think so. That's why I draw the line. Because then you put men and some women in a really bad position when dealing with child support. Because that's one of the most corrupt systems that the government has in place. What other system can take your check, right? Take your weekly, bi-weekly check. Income tax season rolls around, they take your income tax that you've worked hard for. And then on top of that, while you're working, and without any notice, let you know Or what? Yeah, without letting you know anything. They suspend my license. Now, how am I supposed to provide for my family? Fucking people, yeah, they don't look. How am I supposed to provide for my family if I can't get a job? Then I'm supposed to get a restricted license when the job I had at the time would not allow that because the hours fluctuate. It wasn't steady hours or routine hours. It's a real bad system that they need to correct. I mean, first off, it's like, well, here in New York, it's $25 minimum that they will put you for your children. So mind you, out of that $25 that's supposed to be going to your children, only $12 actually goes to the kids. That's it. Just $12 from each $25 that they get. So while they pocket the $13, the child only gets $12. Now what the hell is somebody supposed to do with $12? All right, but as long as they get the higher cut, I guess that's justifiable. And then, of course, as the government does, you know, they take forever to give the child that money. So then instead of trying to work with the parent who's paying, you know, call them in, have a sit down and be like, listen, what's going on? Find out what the situation is. No, they'd rather just ruin your life and make it so you can't work and then you fall into debt. That's the whole scheme of things. You fall right into debt, and then it takes you a while to get back on your feet. By the time you get back on your feet, the warrants are already out for your arrest, because now you're in the rears, like I am. You know, you women don't realize that, what a man has to go through to deal with nonsense like that. You know, what sense does it make? You want the father of your children or child to support them and to be there for them, but yet you put them in a position where it's almost guaranteed that they'll be locked up. Now, how just is that system? And then we're just supposed to sit there and take it and, you know, go to jail for not even committing a crime, for failure to pay a bill, because that's what it is. That's how I saw my child support, as another bill to pay. And mind you, when I got on child support, I wasn't working, so they put me in one of their programs, which I followed. I did everything I was told to do. Anytime I went to look for a job, I wrote it down in the paper, I showed proof. But he claims I didn't do nothing. Not one entry, not handing in one log, nothing. And then that's when he raised it on me. Mind you, again, while I'm not working, he raises it to a very high amount. Instead of bringing it up to like $50, I think he put it up to $70-something. Right? So mind you, that's, you know, every time you get paid, that's what you're paying with every check. I really want to get out of New York. You see this, right? They make bike lanes for us pedal bikers, and everybody's always in the fucking lane. And then you hit somebody, or you get close to hitting somebody, they want to say it's your fault. But mind you, they're walking around like zombies, too distracted by their conversations or their technology, their devices. I tell you, this world is going to hell in a handbasket if it continues the way it is. These protesters need to change their pamper, put on some big boy panties, big girl panties. And understand that the real world, there are no safe spaces. The safe space is the home that you go to after you do your shift from doing a long day of work. That's your safe space. In the workplace, there are no safe spaces. I find it amazing, you know, that these parents are wasting tens of thousands of dollars on an education that the children are not even getting. What makes it worse is that now, even in the public school system, you know, say it's kindergarten, the nonsense that's going on in these public schools to accommodate these so-called refugees coming in. I don't understand how every other person that came to this country had no problem assimilating to the culture of America. Like, even those people who had no choice but to move into the ghetto when they first came here, they assimilated. They had to become ghetto, or at least their kids had to become ghetto, but they assimilated. And now they're all Americans. But why is it when this particular race of people come here, they still want to go by their rules, their laws, their religion? Which, if you ask anyone with common sense, they'll tell you, we don't care. You can do whatever you want to do, as long as you're not forcing it on the rest of society. Which, from everything I see so far, it seems like that's the case. So why come to a country that you know does not and cannot coincide with your beliefs? Why not just go to another Muslim country, right? This way you can continue your beliefs and live your life. But no, they want to come here. Why? Because America is one of the better countries to come to. Because they know the opportunities are here. And especially when the Democratic Party was running the show for the past 40 years, they knew how open the borders were. Yeah, come on down. Bring your tired, your thirsty, your huddled masses. But what they forgot to do was read the fine print, which states, you want to come into this country, you need to do it the right way. That doesn't mean coming here, having babies, and making those babies be your anchor to stay here in this country. I mean, just think about it. 10, 20 years ago, when whatever immigrants crossed the border illegally got into this country safely, they could have went and got their paperwork done. I understand the fear. But how much fear is there really if you're staying in a country for X amount of time, right? With no repercussions to your actions. So something got to give. I don't think it's a question of fear. Because how would they be able to go out and get work if they were afraid to get caught being an illegal? Right? So I really thought that was a question of fear. They just figured, well, we got in here for free. And no one stopped us for the past 10 years now. So let's just continue like this. And as long as our babies were born here, they can't get rid of us. Oh, excuse me. Well, it's ridiculous. Why is it that everybody else has to follow the rules, but certain people don't? Like they feel like they're better than the rules. Well, because the parties that be that allow these people to do this have done it for so long that these offenders think it's normal that they don't have to abide by the rules. I mean, look at these kids today. I remember growing up, you know, everybody had their different choice of what they wanted to be. Right? Be a doctor, be a lawyer, police officer, whatever the case was. But now, this day and age, oh, everybody just wants to be a rapper or a producer. But they don't want to go to school, right? They don't want to get the education needed to get what they want. They just want to jump right in the seat, be the boss and get the checks. And again, without understanding how the real world works, because you gave them their safe spaces and their participation trophies and told them it doesn't matter win or lose, you still get something for your effort. I've struggled all my life. I've always tried to do the best, what I had to work with. And I've made poor choices. You know, but now I'm a man. And I have to acknowledge those choices that I made and acknowledge what the repercussions were for those choices that I made. And deal with it, which I'm trying to do. But it's hard out here for a pimp. Like Tupac said, it's hard to be legit and still pay the rent in this day and age. Because between the music, the videos, and society itself glorifying the gangster life, you know, making the street more popular and more attracting to these youth than being a good person and doing the right thing. You know, get a good job and take care of your parents when they get older for all the times that they took care of you. We don't have those values anymore. You don't see people raising their children like that anymore. What you see is these young parents hanging out with their kids when their kids get older. and smoking and drinking with them, throwing parties for them so they can smoke and drink in the privacy of their own home where they feel safe. And that's just ridiculous. I mean, I don't understand. When did values go out the window? I mean, at least in the hood, that was one thing. When I was growing up, we had some sorts of values. I mean, you gotta remember, when I grew up in the projects, it wasn't my parents I was worried about. It was everybody else who knew my parents. Because in those days, parents gave the neighbors permission to discipline you. And that's how it was. The community watched for itself. It looked after itself. But then all of a sudden, it just became unpopular to do things like that. You had the young people disrespecting the older people. They didn't want to acknowledge their history. You know, they don't understand that the way we got our knowledge back then was through the older people. Because they're the ones who used to tell us the stories on how it was back in their day. But we don't get that anymore. All we get is you know, how much drugs did you sell today, and how many people you knocked out for no reason. That's the society we live in today, where these kids are bored because they've pretty much wasted their chances when it was given to them for a better life. You know, going to these youth centers and after school programs and things of that nature. They did it to themselves because they didn't know how to act. They would go to these centers and start ruining it, start ripping everything apart, destroying everything, because they never knew how to take care of anything. So, you know, I can't blame them for that, but they're still at fault. They do still need to take some accountability for that. They chose the life that they're living now. They chose to feel like selling drugs and hanging out on the streets all night long is the way to be. And knowing the consequences of that. Like just the last night I was watching the documentary on Rikers Island, and what I don't get is, how did people forget that that is a correctional facility? That's a place of punishment. When you commit a crime and you get caught, there's consequences you have to pay. You need to be accountable for your actions. Now, mind you, you get caught doing a crime, that's it. Your rights are taken away. You have literally no rights. So for you to believe that you're going to jail to live a cush life with 3 hots in a cot, no, it doesn't work that way. The bad part is that when you spend X amount of time in jail or in prison, you become institutionalized. Now, I've met a lot of people who've been in and out the system, and because they've spent so much time in and out of it, they can no longer cope with the real world. And they'd rather be in jail because they understand that life now. That's all they know. Well, folks, I'm at my appointment. We'll continue this conversation later. I'll chat with you guys at another day. Have a good one. See you later.